Welcome to another exciting episode of Constantly Calibrating, everybody. I am your host, Brad. This week, Josh and Justin got a chance to talk with Gigi Edgley. Also, we'll be touching on some conventions that Josh went to, and we just saw the new Star Wars trailer, so give us a moment for music, and we'll be right back to talk about all of that. And welcome back, everybody. So, how you guys doing this week? Josh, what's up?
I'm doing all right. Very tired, finally recovering from essentially a week of events, 5 days of eventing.
5 eventing days. I like eventing days.
Watching the Star Wars trailer just now.
Yeah, we're a little bit off. Justin, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing all right.
He's talking in his tiny voice. He doesn't know what to do with himself.
I really don't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so happy.
Brian, swivel chair.
Yeah, that trailer just wrecked me. I'm gonna try and make it through this show, but damn, like
I want to cancel the show right now so bad and just watch it on repeat. You guys have no idea. I scored while we're talking about the trailer. We're gonna come back to this. I scored IMAX tickets, yay. But let's knock out our sponsors real quick so we can get into the nitty gritty of our show this week.
Indeed. So I'll do our No Scope Gaming plug per usual. And this one's flavored for the geekies, so you're welcome.
I like geeky flavor.
Eyes straining against the endless hours you're putting into driving out to California? Wish you could ease that pain while still straining to see down the red carpet? Look no further. Constantly Calibrating is teamed up with No Scope Gaming Glasses to provide cost-effective gaming lenses and frames for your viewing pleasure. Pick from the sporty, bottomless frame Wraith series, Frost and Onyx. Or the full-framed Minotaur glasses also come in Frost and Onyx. And keep your eyes strong and happy while totally not getting shut down for video interviews by the press corps. You can grab your pair through our partner link at constantlycalibrating.com/no-scope-gaming. You can also go to greenmangaming.com for all your PC gaming needs. Greenman Gaming offers plenty of options for all PC gamers, regardless of publisher-specified platforms, whether Steam, Origin, Uplay, or GOG. Make sure to use our promo code featured on our Twitch channel and at the top of constantlycalibrating.com to save 20% on all orders. And you can go to constantlycalibrating.com/greenmangaming. And, of course, our Patreon sponsor of the week, Mr. Nebot, and you can find him at Nebot_ on Twitter, and thank him for keeping us going yet another week.
Nebot! Indeed, thank you for that ad read, Brian. So I'm gonna chime in before you take us on the topics, Brad, just to let people know, if you are watching the live show, we'll have that interview, Gigi Edgley, in about 30-40 minutes. It'll come up at the end of the show.
Yep.
However, if you are watching the show or listening to the show on Wednesday for Patreon subscribers, patreon.com/constantlycalibrating, or on Friday for our normal release, we'll be doing that right now.
Hey, where are you guys calling from? Did it say Tempe?
Yeah, I'm in Tempe, Arizona.
Arizona, got you.
And Justin's out in middle of nowhere, South Carolina.
Oh, isn't that where, I feel like that's where Ben is from, or was it North Carolina, the guy that was in Farscape?
Yeah, Ben Browder. Ben is from, I want to say North Carolina.
Yeah, one of the Carolina boys, because he's got that kind of accent thing going on.
Yeah, he was just at Phoenix Fan Fest last year, and he was talking about stuff like that. Well, no, according to his IMDb, Memphis, Tennessee. Maybe he was.
He's not from Memphis.
I'm just telling you what the IMDb, but I remember him talking about.
IMDb's so wrong. Hey,
I agree with you.
IMDb said some crazy crap.
I definitely.
I don't know who puts this crap on there, but.
I know. I definitely remember him discussing before, like one of the Carolinas that he was raised in. Maybe he was just born in Tennessee or something like that, and then moved.
So I decided to Google it. Where's Ben Browder from? I'm American.
America.
Very. Well, hey, thank you for working with us to get you on the show.
No worries. worries, no worries. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. You've been, I think I briefly mentioned, in a brief chat at that post-party of the Geekie Awards, but I've wanted to talk to you for, well, I'm a long-time fan of Farscape, so, obviously wanted to talk to you for quite some time. My license plate's Farscape 1.
What does it say? What does it say?
It's just Farscape 1, but without
oh my God.
one of the vowels. I think, specifically, I think it's FRS.
Oh my God. You crazy, crazy man.
But my first car, I did a whole thing where I named it after a type of ship, and that just started that trend, I went Star Wars, and then, Farscape, kind of stuff like that. So, I have a dog named Dargo. My stepdad has a dog named Zan.
Gosh. Oh wow, you're in deep. You're in deep.
Yeah, a little bit deep.
With him, it's a family thing.
I don't know. And, first, obviously, we'll discuss, your Indiegogo campaign with Nexus to start off, but I would, I got obviously have a couple of Farscape questions.
Yeah.
How long do you have with us?
What, a good 15?
Yeah, a good 15 will work perfectly.
Cool.
Yeah, I just didn't want to, talk too long, take up too much of your time.
No worries, thank you. I just got back into town from, I did a signing in Fresno yesterday, and then I booked myself every single weekend up until, the last weekend of November. So I just have spent today just running around trying, it's like when you're out of town and you're just trying to catch up, and I feel like all I've done is unpack my bag, and it's not even unpacked in a professional manner. It's just burst into the lounge room. I'm like, is that all I've achieved today? Because I keep getting distracted with 50 other jobs, and I'm like, I do a bit of this, and I pay one bill, then I do a bit of that, then I walk the dog, then I throw some more crap out of my bag, then I do a bit of, I'm like, what have I actually achieved?
At least you're doing something. Like, I go on a trip and I come back and my bag's just sitting there for weeks. That's how I open it. It's like, oh yeah, and never unpack that.
Well, that's the thing, is because I'm about to go on Friday now to Minnesota, and then the next one's Daytona, and then the next one's Rocky Mountains, and the next one's working with Star Trek Continues that they just announced the other day too, which we can have a chat about because people might be keen to hear about that.
That's on my list.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'll let you have a crack at it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, just on the traveling thing, I not to that degree of busyness, but I understand. I drove from Geekie Awards and went straight to a different convention right from LA. I pretty much had to go straight there, attempt to conduct one interview, and then go back home, finally see my kid after 3 days. So It's an exhausting experience. But okay, let's just start things off. Let's discuss Nexus, the short film you are going to be working on. So what can you tell me? What got you interested in this project?
The whole reason I moved back to America was to host the Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge, which was an absolute delight. I'd worked for one series, and everyone was extremely positive that it was going to go again, from the Henson Company and the Sci-Fi Channel, and as you should be on any show. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like I was going to just take the leap and come back, and I jumped back over from Australia to Los Angeles and moved my dog and my cat and my kind of life, and then we sort of hung out here for a year waiting for the word for the go-ahead. And then we found out that it wasn't going to get picked up for a second season, and I was just devastated, to tell you the truth, and I probably should be more, not so open and honest, but I'm the most ridiculously open and stupidly honest person you ever meet, and I think that probably gets me in a lot of trouble sometimes, but I go, well, you can either take it or leave it. So I was devastated, and, it was really quite intense because once you've moved here with the animals and stuff, sure, I can move back, but then you've got to put them through quarantine, and I don't know, I felt so excited that, I was invited back into the world of Henson and sci-fi, and then sure enough, for one reason or another, it didn't go ahead. So I was approached at DragonCon by this amazing production company called Runic Films, and they talked to me about shooting a film called Hashtag, and the way they wanted to fund it was through a Kickstarter, and I initially felt quite nervous about that because I'd never had to go down that road before, and I kind of was a bit scared. I said, guys, I don't want to be I don't want to be begging people for money. And they're like, no, this is actually, people love it. They love contributing. They love becoming part of a project with someone that, is established and someone that they have faith in and that they already believe in. And it's like a new wave in filmmaking and television and web series. So we put up a Kickstarter for 40,000, and in the end we raised over 44,000, which was amazing. And I was like, you know what, this is phenomenal. And the film, I saw it the other day. It's in post-production, so I saw a rough cut because there's lots of computer graphics that have to go along with it. But it is absolutely magnificent, and I burst into tears because it was once again the whole belief from the fans and the friends and the family that each put in their time and energy and shared it and contributed financially and, spread the word and spread the love. And it literally, a dream came true before my very eyes, and it sort of reawakened me to believing in myself and following my dreams out here and to stay strong and stick it out over in Los Angeles, because in Australia I feel like I've got a really, strong reputation there, and I feel like quite confident that I could probably walk back into a job, but it might not necessarily be the job that I'm most excited about. Here there's a lot more opportunities and there's a lot more of a chance for me to pursue projects that I can get off the ground from scratch. So then, so we want to take that to Sundance and to Cannes and Toronto, and we should be releasing it around early next year. And then in the interim, good old Nexus popped up, and Nexus is a beautiful story. It's about, I play a mother, and it's about believing in yourself and believing in your dreams and facing your fears. And it's also about alternate realities, and there's a few really cool post-apocalyptic alien fight sequences in there as well, which we all love.
I mean, it always is good,
know. I can't, it's got to be a done deal. Any movie that I do has to have that in it somewhere, I'm sure now. So we've been filming that at the moment, and it's coming together really, really well. We trained up at Cirque du Soleil Circus School, because there's lots of stunts, there's lots of visual effects and computer graphics again. And it's the Indiegogo that we've got running at the moment. So we would love people to come on board or share it, pop it on their Twitter or their Facebook, or any way we can get the word out there. Or if you want to become part of our family and work with us as a team to get this amazing story to the big screens together, we'd love you to come on board and contribute. That would be amazing. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Well, I've been looking over the Indiegogo campaign for Nexus, and it's a really interesting story, because essentially it's dealing with alternate realities, kind of split reality kind of thing, which I think most diehard sci-fi fans, our bread and butter is time travel and alternate reality. Those are your two different things,
Didn't you see on Facebook there's that weird thing? It's probably a hoax, but I believe everything on the computers and everything that anyone tells me. But there was over China or something, and they saw in the air a whole nother city, and they're like, is it an alternate reality? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, there was something.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know the story you're talking about. Usually most of the stories I just kind of write off as hoaxes and things like that.
What is it? Does it have legs, do you think, or what's the deal?
I don't know. Well, I know it was reposted by the Facebook page, I Fucking Love Science, which is one of my favorite pages, and I tend to trust things at least a little bit more when it comes through them, because they are more devoted to actually real science and not just BSing kind of things. I don't know. I don't really know about the alternate reality. I've kind of always been, I'm that person. I watch Stargate a lot in my teens, and I tend to, on some degree, believe that the reason why technology started jumping forward so drastically in the 80s, 90s, 2000s is there's actually a Stargate somewhere out there.
I believe so. It's too trippy to see. You think our grandparents, could only watch, in black and white television when, whoever the gods were at the time allowed them to, there was 2 channels, 4 channels, whatever. And now it doesn't even make sense. We've got people in space, we've got microwaves, we've got iPhones, you can do anything on that crazy iPhones. We've got the Oculus, we've got virtual reality, it blows my mind. It doesn't even make sense. It's got to be aliens or reptilians or alternate realities or Stargates involved somewhere, doesn't it?
Somewhere. I mean, just think how mundane, what we consider mundane technology. There could be again, Justin in the middle of nowhere can pull out his phone, go on Periscope, and just Periscope himself editing a video or something like that, and people might watch like that's a possible.
No,
thing.
this is possible. This is a reality thing. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I can do this.
Oh, really? See,
He
it
really
doesn't make sense, does it? None of it makes any sense.
It's just a short time. We're reading newspapers, like you said, watching black and white TV, and now we have the internet in the palm of our hands and high-def video right there, and just instantly share any moment in your life.
Like, what is going to happen in the next lifetime? Like, how much more? And now everyone's on those hoverboards. Like, I went to the dog park today to walk MacGyver, my dog, and I almost ran over 3 people on Segways, and I was like, oh my god, and now I've turned into a grumpy American somehow, and I'm like, get off the road!
Well, I mean,
trying to enjoy the Hollywood sign, I'm like, I've got to take MacGyver to the dog park.
Well, they were on Segways, so just...
They're kind of asking for it a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, you know what, get the bloody hoverboard, man. Keep up with the times.
I mean, look, we're in 2015. It's the year Marty goes to the future and Back to the Future too. So
I'm telling you,
we're
it's on.
But well, okay, to return this back to like Nexus and stuff like that, and even to hashtag, a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo campaign that you've done. I mean, look at that. There's crowdfunded films.
It's so good, guys. It really is, because like I do lots of these comic conventions, and I see a lot of really, really talented actors that, can't get a job. They're auditioning all the time, but there's so much competition, and it's not necessarily that they're not right for the part. They could be perfect for the part, but because Hollywood's version, or because it's not that. I mean, we all love working for the big networks, and we all love working for the big studios, and in no way do I ever take that for granted. But this whole new, idea of collaborating with people, it's huge. It's like, if you break it down to like the Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge, it was such a beautiful process because you watch a group of people make a one. And there's something very cool about that, because nowadays we're so busy texting, we're so busy on our Facebook and our Twitter, and no one ever communicates. I went into yoga class the other day, and people were on their phones, on their yoga mats, right until the lady comes in. I'm like, no, stop. I mean, I'm addicted to my phone, but that's a sacred space. It's just so trippy. So it's such a beautiful idea that we can actually work together and collaborate and tell a really beautiful story, that the artistic integrity hasn't been sacrificed, because it doesn't have to bow down to ratings. It doesn't have to bow down to, what's in the trends, and what it works for is complex characters that are intriguing and that are so deep and so layered and challenging and entertaining and enthralling and mesmerizing, and that's what makes a story. Like, you look at Breaking Bad, or you look at those really successful television shows, and they let the story speak for themselves because the characters are so strong. They don't have to edit the crap out of it, They trust that they can have a 2-person scene and allow that scene to go on for 10 minutes almost, and it's quite... And
not only just had 2-person scenes, they have some scenes where it's just one person, and speaking no words, but just through their emotions you get the story. It's
beautiful.
Just facial reactions.
Beautiful.
Nothing more than that.
Which is so cool, because like if you look at Netflix, like Bloodline's another really good one, and Hulu, and the web series, and beautiful, cool stories have come because it's like trusting in the organic nature of the story rather than putting so much fluff on top that you can't even digest it. Like, I've watched a couple of shows that I've been really excited about, like they've been revved up so much, and I've watched them and I'm like, this isn't not particularly, I get that it serves a purpose, but it wasn't quite. Just trust the story and trust the characters, you don't have to add all this other nonsense on top. But so that's where I think it's super cool going through the process of crowdfunding, and it really is. And plus, you get really cool rewards, and people come, like on the hashtag set, it was so cool. People came to set, and we had lunch together, and and we had big, deep, and meaningfuls, and there's lots of other cool perks as well. The Nexus one, if at a certain point, the goal is met, you can actually become a character in the film. I'm like, that's cool.
Well, like I'm seeing, looks like a $995 be a monster in the movie.
Yeah.
You get props, things like that at different levels.
Yeah, you have to pay me that to keep my monster out of the movie.
So,
give me my coffee.
Oh, jeez. Well, okay, so I do want to talk with you about at least one more thing, but first, where can people find more about Nexus?
All right, cool. Well, it's on Indiegogo. It's Nexus the film, and it has my name attached to it. On my website, which is just my name, which is Gigi Edgley, GIGIEDGLEY, .com. It has a link to my Facebook, my Twitter. It also has a link to the Indiegogo there. And I constantly, update it with I'm recording music at the moment. We're writing comic books. I do funny little podcasts with actors and cosplayers and crazy characters I meet on my signing adventures as well. And any new film projects, I pop up there as well. So if you want to tune into anything at all on my adventures, that's the best place to go to, and it has a direct link to Nexus there. And I think we don't have that many more days to go, so tune in quick. Sooner than later. We love you.
The sooner you get in on this project, the sooner we can be sure that it's actually, makes forward. I would definitely like to see it move forward, but I love, parental stories, and I love parallel universe stories, so it's like put them together.
Yeah, and I think it's also great too, like Kate Blanchett said with Blue Jasmine, and I know there's now a trend, the Ghostbusters are female, Thor's female, and all that stuff, but chicks are cool, and we've got a story to tell as well, and I think it's so exciting to find strong leading ladies that are challenging and that aren't just pretty with a nice pair of high heels. They've got a bit of depth to them, and they really push the boundaries, and it shows that, a couple of the photos that we took on set, and, it's with me, with my daughter, and we're both holding guns. I'm like, oh, bad parenting 101, but it's really clever because, it's not the perfect character. She's completely, she's a bit of a hot mess, which we love. Because we love people that aren't perfect, because none of us are perfect, she's trying to get it together, and she's a single mum, and, and she's strong in some areas, and then she's terrible in some areas, which is great, because that's like us, so I think people will really dig it and really connect to it, and as I said before, it's a magnificent story.
I look forward to actually seeing it, when it's able to film and stuff like that. I do want to touch on one more thing. I know you have to go, but Star Trek Continues, you were recently cast in.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, speaking of things that were originally crowdfunded and stuff like that, again, the trend continues. I actually saw the first episode when they premiered it back at Phoenix Comic-Con, what was that, in 2013, and Fonda series, Fonda Vic Mignogna's stuff. So, tell me about your role within Continues.
I don't know how much I meant to tell you about the character because they just literally announced it a couple of days ago. But I can tell you that how I found out about it is that through the Comic Cons and the signings, I collided with good old Vic, and he told me about Star Trek Continues, and I checked it out online, and I was fascinated by it because it is so multifaceted. Like it's so you look at the how many people have been inspired, and I was actually speaking to a lady at the table. I did a signing in Fresno this weekend, and I was asking her what her passion was, and she goes, "Well, I have lots of passions, but I really, really like Star Trek because when all my friends were going to war and getting enlisted and not coming back, it was on. So it was like her saving grace. It was like her escape. It was like, and it's affected people so deeply on so many different levels. So I've always been quite fascinated by and intrigued by how it's reached so many people, and I've always wanted to get involved with the Star Trek universe some way. And I felt that this was a perfect opportunity because once again, I meet lots and lots of great people at the conventions that come up, and they really believe, they're completely in love with this production, and they just talk so highly of it. And that's a huge thing I know Star Trek fans are very committed and very stern, so if they don't get it right, it won't last. And these guys, like my friend was saying, if you saw like a snapshot of Star Trek Continues and a snapshot of the original series, you couldn't tell the difference. Because they have literally measured everything out inch by inch, that they've shot it in the exact ratio, they've lit it exactly the same, the cost, everything. It's right on the money, and that's a beautiful thing. It's a perfect vision to take the Star Trek universe to into a deeper level and to tell even more amazing stories that it has to offer. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited, and it's actually going to be over my birthday. So I always take a little moment and go. I'm still a bit of a hopeless romantic when it comes to birthdays, and it's always a big sign as to we all do that. Okay, where are we? Where have we landed on this birthday? And so I will be landed on the good old Enterprise apparently.
That's pretty outstanding. Yeah,
flung back into the uncharted territories once more.
Well, I mean, I think just about any actor, director, writer, anyone who works in science fiction, the dream is to work on something Star Trek. I mean, I don't think most people really care at this point. They just want to be part of that universe. So it's really great that you get to do that. And also, yeah, as you said, you get to do it as a birthday present, essentially.
I know. How cool is that? I can't wait.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And again, another thing I can't wait to see you in. So, let's just go over again, anything else, you would like to plug or anything of that nature, places people find you.
I just want to thank everyone for being so beautiful and for believing in me, and it blows my mind how giving and grateful and beautiful these amazing, people I meet at conventions and people I meet online and through Twitter and Facebook and I've always been a bit cautious of good old Twitter and Facebook because it kind of feels like you get stolen away from the real world. But in another way, it's kind of really cool because when I go to signings, I meet the people that I've actually now begun relationships, with over Twitter and Facebook. And I'm like, oh my God, you're her, or you're him, oh, cool. And how's the kids? And how's the project? Oh, how's the dog? So see the dog, the photos of the cats and the dogs, and the whole thing. So it's really, really cool. So I just want to thank everyone for helping me every moment of every day, believing in my dreams and helping me to tell the stories that are close to my heart. And I'm just so appreciative and so humble and so grateful. I feel truly blessed to be on this journey with you guys. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. We're gonna have to have you on again because I really need to discuss some Farscape stuff with you at some point. But for now, we'll leave that for a future interview, a future chat.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Gigi.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you.
So Josh, you had some convention days. Let's knock out your eventing.
I would rather hit Star Wars first. We just
really?
watched it. Let's go.
Really?
Star Wars first.
Okay, Star Wars first. So, holy shit, Abrams has pulled it off. I will say that 100%.
I haven't even seen the movie. Abrams has pulled it off.
He's pulled on something of mine.
He hasn't let go.
Okay, so the thing to me, how crazy is it that Han is the one that's like confirming everything after he was the most skeptical one the first time around.
It works. But that's why it works, is because he's been convinced after everything else. Also, his, brother-in-law is a Jedi, so he can't really just say, not real.
Here's an interesting question, though. We all assume that they're married, but is that canon?
It's not canon until we see. Well, but no, until we see it, it's not canon.
They are partners. They are not canon. So yes,
they could have broken up after all that too. We don't know yet.
He put himself in the Force. I mean that in every sense of the word.
I mean, they did have kids within the expanded universe before that got nixed. So.
I think even in this universe, they got it on. So I mean, he slept with the Jedi. He believes it now.
True enough.
When you have Jedi sex, you don't go back.
Constantly Calibrating 167 Jedi sex.
So what I was gonna say,
it's a different type of Force sex.
What was I gonna say?
Oh, wait. So do they use Force choking?
Oh God.
You're into it.
I thought we could go at least a few weeks without a BDSM comment.
What's the safe word?
Like, do you think he used the Force lightning like Dr. Manhattan and
Oh God, you're killing me. So we saw.
Of course, my chain set me free. Is that the safe word sentence?
We saw a lot. We heard Kylo Ren for the first time just now,
and we finally saw the Crush Vader helmet that we've saw in stills forever ago. We finally just saw it in action.
Well, it's not crushed. It's melted.
It's
fine.
Scorched, melted.
Yes. Same difference. We saw the
Kylo Ren without the
helmet.
hood too, which is different.
Saw what?
Like a hard helmet all over. Like we saw him without the hood.
Well, he is a Vader fanatic, like bordering on crazy. We know that.
Right.
It definitely seems like there's like a cult of Vader essentially within the Sith Order that he is the main person for. It is what my implication is. I like that nothing about that trailer whatsoever denies the overriding theory that Rey is a Skywalker, which is the strongest theory still going on.
Yeah, she's definitely of that lineage somehow.
Gotta be.
Well, I'm wondering if they set her up as
Reaper,
Leia and Han's daughter.
Well, that's the question. She's going to be Leia and Han's daughter. She's going to be Luke's daughter. That's, is she going to be another Immaculate Conception?
And then
Luke's and Leia's daughter.
Luke's and Leia's daughter. Well, in the Star Wars universe, kissing on Han. That's
all you need to do. It's all it takes.
We really didn't see what happened afterwards.
Also, we don't know how sex works in that universe, so kissing that could be it.
Well, how it works is the midichlorians get you.
What happens in the back to tank stays in the back to tank.
That's not back to.
Oh.
Back that ass up.
Oh, so I don't know. I want to watch it again right now so bad because
we'll watch it when we're done.
Yeah. So I like a lot of the parallels that they're doing with the whole Yavin 4 and a lot of because it's still very much the rebellion against this now new overarching new order. And the lore side of me really is excited for seeing how they fill in the cracks of, okay, hey, we're 30 years out from, them pulling down the statue of, the Emperor and all that stuff on Coruscant. Where's everything now? So I cannot wait.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the where are they now aspect is certainly what might be the most appealing to me.
There's one scene that caught my eye more than any other, and that was where Han and Chewie were apparently at gunpoint.
Yeah,
and they looked very, very shocked for some reason. And I'm wondering if somebody's gonna die in that scene, or betrayal, or if somebody lets them go for some reason and they didn't expect that, like they're confused.
Yeah, we also saw what was his name? Oscar Isaac's character. Let me see.
Poe?
I'm trying to remember what his name is. Poe
Dameron?
Yeah, Poe Dameron. We also saw him being tortured. What appeared to be, at least.
And we saw Phasma.
Moving.
Phasma.
I don't want to wait.
Well, let's not dwell on it too much. I want to actually let's discuss the poster a little bit as well. That poster is absolutely amazing. The play of red and blue, light and Sith and Jedi, the focal characters and stuff like that is absolutely amazing. The big question going around the internet since it debuted is, where's Luke? We've seen at best what we think is maybe his hand in a couple in the trailers. Mm-hmm. Maybe the back of his head. We think that's him. It could really be anyone. He's not in the poster, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, that means he's not important." Blah 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 blah. Which I'm going to point out right here. Luke's not in the poster of the trailer probably because he's the most important. It's Luke fucking Skywalker. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm still going with the theory that he's going to be Obi-Wan. About 60%, maybe at the end of the second act, he's going to be killed and become the Force Ghost mentor for Finn. Maybe Rey. Maybe both. Because we don't know. We've seen Rey with what appears to be a light staff kind of thing, but we only know Finn wields a lightsaber. We don't know what Rey actually is.
Going back to the poster, it's kind of neat how they show like light side, dark side, Rey in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Rey's right in the middle, splitting it quite literally.
Yep. I think.
So, and then John Cena's there.
Or my favorite is the Jar Jar Binks one.
Yes, the Jar the Femme Jar Jar is the best aspect of that.
So, do you think they're setting her up to be a very conflicted character then?
I really feel like she's not going to be it in name, but I feel like she's going to be Jaina Solo, at least in personality, which is a character that's kind of on the edge, kind of, Jaina was in the old lore was the Sword of the Jedi. She stood at the midpoint. Her brother, fell to the dark side. She almost falls, but then she kind of inhabits a gray, mostly light side area from that point forward. And I really feel like she's going to be the towing the line warrior. How do you be a warrior? Truly be a warrior?
I wonder if she's trying to trace down her existence, because she's definitely searching for something in this trailer.
Yes, we definitely see she's searching for something. What she's searching for. Again, there's the old rumor that the entire storyline hinges on the search for Anakin Skywalker's lost lightsaber from when Luke lost an Bespin.
Okay, so what she's in is the wreckage of Cloud City. His hand's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Well, but the other thing that makes me think that she is Han and Leia's daughter is because the getup she had while she was climbing around in there looked very similar to what Leia was wearing when she broke into Jabba's palace. And so
that similarity, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm leaning towards. Also, if she's going to be towing the line and being the kind of anti-hero, that is exactly what Han was in the original series. So it would make sense that she has that kind of streak in her if she is in fact their child.
Fair point.
But yeah.
It's quite the thing to take in, really. I mean, I'm honestly still processing everything I've seen. I'm gonna have to watch it 600-700 more times.
Yes. Well, we know that she's gonna end up with that saber too, at some point. We see it given to her.
So we'll see how it actually comes to her. We're gonna see exactly what that journey is.
Yeah. And if that's actually Finn's lightsaber.
True. At least that's what it appears to be. We already saw the stills, but I've seen Finn actually facing Kylo Ren with the famous, ignition of the cross guard saber.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. We need to watch this some more, and then we can come back and talk about it.
Yeah, we'll probably discuss it a little bit more next week. But let's go, I guess, on to you can ask me questions.
All right. So you went for your third trip to the Geekies this year.
Yeah, the third annual Geekie is my third trip.
You've been to all of them. So what did you like about it this year? What stood out?
Okay, well, this year I will say overall, the Geekies has kind of been this slowly improving, slowly growing thing, I guess you could say. It's been, the first year was a freshman year. You can't really expect a lot. They really kind of just threw everything behind the event and went into it. But things they did well that year. They had a phenomenal host in Allison Hayslip. They did some fun little shorts. And it was kind of just, honestly, it was kind of like a drunken award show. It was just, it was a first-time thing. The second show, I think they overreached. They got some guy from YouTube who I've heard some rumors and stuff, going around. I can't substantiate anything, but apparently never rehearsed his lines. Wow. And it shows. If you watch the show, he was awful. Simply put, was just dreadful. And it was a lot of, as I've stated before, it was a lot of, instead of being yay geeks, it was haha nerds. It was the big vibe from that year. And the room was dead. This year, the room was very lively. They did an ongoing story with their skits and bits and things like that. And it was very time travel heavy. They had a guy play a phenomenal Marty McFly. Seriously, even Michael J. Fox is the only one who's comparable to this guy. He was amazing. They had some Bill and Ted stuff, which I loved, and they really kept a fun ongoing show. And for the most part, there was some award show cliche things, but for the most part, the humor was there, the heart was there. Kevin Smith gave. Sadly, I missed it because I was waiting backstage. A phenomenal speech. I'm gonna go watch. I still have to go rewatch it, but I've heard there was not a dry eye in the house after it. Yeah, the show itself was good. My issues this year is still the same issues I have every year. Their PR people don't know what the fuck they're doing. They allotted a space for red carpet interviews that couldn't fit almost anyone. Here's the thing. Their reasoning was, well, the main interviews are happening upstairs. The red carpet is just for a select few people. They never told anyone this. We were standing on that red carpet forever before they started coming around being like, why are you're supposed to be up there, not down here. I'm gonna get so the upstairs, by the way, was in the crowded club with music blaring, and horrible acoustics, and also they never told the guests that was the press room. Literally, not one guest knew they were supposed to be doing interviews up there. So confusion. Point number one. On the floor, one of their PR people was not allowing some people like myself to do interviews because we registered as photographers. I'm not a photographer. Never have pretended to be a photographer. I've taken pictures, but I'm not particularly good at it. I never even received the thing stating photography versus interview. So I wasn't allowed to do interviews unless I was super secretive about it, which I was honestly so burned out I just didn't give a shit at that point. I scheduled interviews for later, I decided. I'm not going to do the interviews here. You don't want me doing interviews as part of your show to promote you? I'm not going to do them. Simple as that. It seemed like a fair thing. I wasn't, by the way, rude or bitter about it, but that was just my decision. And so I hung out with someone I hang out with regularly, and I think you could see my bald spot in another network's interview during 3 different interviews.
Nice.
Because I didn't realize they were filming right here, and I would lean back every now and again. So I'm really sure my head just goes right into frame a few times. Yeah. But yeah, so they need to really work on their stuff because they allotted this massive area to their streaming interview area, but no space to anything else.
So what would your recommendations be for next year to make that a better...
More space outside, have a clearer chain of command. You want, make sure you actually have responses from every person. Because I talked to numerous different small, through even almost large press people. None of them ever got these emails. Nobody was aware of any of these registration things. So someone's either straight up lying or someone's mistaken. So they just need a clear chain of command for who's handling what with their press stuff. And then a lot more space. And if you want people to do interviews inside, for the more long-term stuff, don't fucking do it in a club kind of surroundings. It's just not going to work. I could barely hear people. If I'd whipped out a microphone, it would have been, I tested it. It was literally just peaking, just from being on. And there was nothing I could do about it. So that would be my advice. As I said, show itself was good. My big thing was the networking. I hung out with Josh from the Legal Geeks, who was a nominee for the for Best Podcast. I hung out with Emily Kelly and Peter. I'm forgetting Peter's last name, but they run Wrong Button Blog, and she runs Crafting Cosplay, I believe. Anyways, Crafting Controller, I believe. And I finally met her. Had a lot of fun chatting with them, these different people and stuff. And that's what this is. I have a feeling I'm going to do a post-mortem interview with Kristen Edepak, the creator. That's what I called it. But on the event, after the event kind of interview sometime in the next couple of weeks. And I want to ask her, I think she's gearing up to turn this into more of a festival. It was 2 days this year, 1 day for the pre-party, and then 1 day for the actual event. I get the feeling she wants to turn this into like a South by Southwest kind of thing, but for independent geeks.
And that'd be awesome. That's something that this niche needs, I think, because yes, you do have the tech and business worlds and music worlds at South by Southwest, but for geeks specifically, that is, yes, somewhat business related, yes, somewhat gaming related, but not exactly Comic-Con. I think that's something that, if done right, can actually work really well.
I would agree with you. So, I think that they really need to, if they're going to embrace that, this is something to explore. Again, rumor and hearsay and stuff, so I can't substantiate. Apparently, the reason why the event was held, one in October. Oh, I did thumbs up. One in October, 2 on a weekend was. I noticed they were supposed to be at a different event as of a month ago, and they'd suddenly changed the Club Nokia. I guess the other place wanted them to move the event to October to use that space. They moved to October. They didn't want to have it on a weekend because there's a lot of conventions, especially in California. They didn't want to burn a bridge by holding their event on the same time as another one, because it's bad, to do that. So they said, fine, we'll hold it on weekdays. Then the original venue canceled the event, said that they can't use the spot anymore. So they went with Club Nokia, which is a place they also wanted to hold the event.
Right.
But they were left with, the times they had to do it. It was already past the original point they wanted to do stuff. Too late.
So good on them for actually being able to make that work within the time frame and being able to work with such short notice.
Exactly. So, more power to them. That's the thing. I bitch about the Geekie Awards almost every year. It's kind of becoming a rhythmic thing for me to complain, but it's constructive criticism. I like Kristen Nedopak a lot. I like a lot of people who work with the Geekies. I just want them I actually want them to succeed. So my criticism is because I want to go to this event one year and to not complain about the mishandling of the press. And all these things. That being said, due to some weird choices, I ended up getting a backstage pass, and I hung out backstage for most of the show, which is why I didn't get to watch it. Which is why I haven't read my review yet, because I still have to go back and watch the show.
Woo! There you go. I love that you're taking a page from my playbook. It's great.
Yeah, it's
getting there.
It was fun, but yeah, I hung out backstage, took a selfie, and discussed parenting with Jason Mewes. Stood in awe of Kevin Smith. Chatted with Courtney Taylor, voice actor for Fallout, and Mass Effect, who will be on our show sometime after Fallout's release.
Can't forget Ada Wong. I'm going to say that I'm still playing a lot of Resident Evil right now for some weird ass.
Fair enough. And then talked with Chris Avallone, RPG creator extraordinaire of Obsidian, these days.
Wow.
Discussed Mass Effect, of all things, and wanted to know the history of Constantly Calibrating.
Huh.
So
do you just need me to record that soundbite for you so you can just play it?
Yeah, probably.
Because I've done that so many times.
Click. Yeah, no, this is who I met and did this weekend. I mean, not did, but would have done.
Exactly. So he might end up having him on a show or something like that as well, figuring that stuff out. He now follows me on Twitter, so
sweet.
I'm very happy. So long story short, had a good weekend. Missed my kid, but had a lot of fun. And then had a great time in the Airbnb place I was staying, but nobody needs to hear about that.
All right. So I guess that covers your geeky.
I'll have
experience?
For anyone who wants a Reddit thing, I'll do a highlight lowlight review sometime in the next couple days.
Sweet.
Right.
All right.
And then moving on to yet another thing you were able to go to, CMX.
Yeah, Comic Media Expo. Honestly,
this was your second year, correct?
It's their second year and my second year as well. I'm gonna be blunt. I only got there at I don't know. I showed up very briefly on Friday. Changed and just honestly, I was like, I can't do this. I need to go home with my kid. I literally got there, didn't even walk in. I'm like, I can't go, and I left to go home and see Ron because I drove straight from LA to get a flu shot and then went there. Anyways, I went Saturday for a few hours and I went Sunday for a few hours. For me, the highlight was hanging out with our friend Itty Bitty Geek Nicole Nance and Natalie Arvizu cosplay. Fun people, love chatting with them. But the event, Saturday at 5 o'clock, it was empty. The hall had almost no one in it.
That's never a good thing.
I don't know if that's a marketing issue they had, that they didn't get their name out fast enough. I don't know if this is a bad weekend for conventions, if it's just too small of a place. I don't know, or... last year the event was kind of very lackluster. I didn't do anything about it except discuss it slightly on the podcast because there was just nothing to discuss. This year, I explored the show floor. It was, smaller venue, interesting at the Mesa Convention Center. I went to 2 panels. I went, to one for Itty Bitty Geek, Natalie Arvizu, and Kiba the Cosplay Corgi. There was 9 people in that room. Which made it for a very fun thing. Mostly consisted of Nicole yelling at me, Josh, ask questions. And then I went the next day to the cosplay panel, which I don't know all the cosplayers. I know Firelight Cosplay was also there, in addition to the previously mentioned people, and D. Pitty was there. Because D. Pitty filmed one of his videos. Had a fun little video of him doing front rolls. You can read the story on our Facebook page.
And he's the one that's the Dancing Deadpool, correct?
Dancing Deadpool.
Right.
Very much about his anonymity, keeping his face hidden. But he was an awesome guy. Had a little fun chatting with him. We couldn't really line up an interview, but I might try to get him at least for a written interview or something for our site in the coming months, because I'd love to discuss playing the persona and things like that. But watched him film a bunch of stuff. Got to see his method a little bit. It was cool. But this was a small event. I know that there were major guests there, and their panels were empty.
Ooh.
So I don't know if somebody overplanned, overpromised, or something like that. I don't know what exactly the case would be, but I like at least a few of the people running the show. So, hopefully next year they can do more with it.
I'll say, like, because I've been listening to, like, various podcasts. I think I was listening with Kevin Pereira where he's just talking about it. It seems like they're definitely going in the right direction with this now.
Yeah, with these kind of things, they're moving forward.
Yeah, I think now that these type of conventions have become more commonplace and more widespread, I think there's now become more of like a general idea of how they're supposed to run, and that I think for smaller ones, it's tough to get off the ground running unless you have that back, and that's why the Geekies have worked well enough because they have enough of these large names. But if you're a local, con like, so that, or even Tucson Comic-Con, like I've not been able to go, but even still, from even just the pictures I've seen, it's tough because it's in the Southwest.
I think the big problem with a lot of these conventions is I honestly think there's too many. You know, more power to people to throw their conventions and things like that. But truth be told, we do not need this many in specific areas, especially. We don't need this many overarching comic conventions a year. There's really not a need. Sure, the centralized, specified stuff maybe, but that's my one question about Comic Media Expo, which I just don't understand entirely how they're different from. And yes, they started planning their convention before Phoenix Comic-Con added Phoenix Fan Fest, but there's now Phoenix Fan Fest in the winter, which literally does the same thing as they do, pretty much, and has been doing it longer. So just by that merit alone, does it better. Not that I think Fan Fest was all that great last year, but we'll see what it turns out to be this year.
Right.
So
too many cons.
Too many cons.
Too many cons on the dance floor.
Brad, I want to ask you about the new Xbox. Well, you said NXOE. I don't actually know what that stands for.
The new Xbox One experience is what it's called.
Wow, how did I not... the O was the only thing confusing me. How the fuck
did I didn't figure it out until I had to start using it to bitch about it.
Okay. So what's the bitching? Like, I want to hear what the problems are.
It is completely non-functional. The problem is if you... I thought it was Destiny at first, but I've had the same problems crop up with just leaving it idle on the home screen, and also in the Master Chief Collection. The home button doesn't work like 50% of the time. When you press it, nothing happens, so you just get stuck whatever you're doing. The other thing I've noticed is that it doesn't handle the snap function very well at all. Because there's, in Master Chief Collection, there's the terminals. Everybody knows about the terminals in Halo. Well, if you hit the terminals, you get a 5-point achievement, and it pops up the Halo channel to show you a video. This did not work once at all.
Wait, question. Because I have this problem. Is your Xbox still in your Elgato?
Still what?
Do you have your Xbox still hooked to your capture card?
No.
Okay, then that should be a problem.
No,
I don't remember me kind of bitching about this when the Master Chief Collection came out. Like, it's like, it doesn't work, and I finally took it out of it. It's like, oh,
I could see
detecting it.
Yeah, but I don't have that going on at all. Like, it's going straight into my TV, and it'll pop up the bright yellow Halo channel screen, and it'll freeze, or it'll try to pop it up, and it'll be black, and it'll freeze. You can hold down the home button, and that'll bring up the turn off controller or turn off system and feedback. Once or twice going to feedback would kick it into the actual preview app and let you try to submit feedback. I sent it 4 or 5 times. I don't know if it actually went through or not.
Xbox is not my friend G-John, by the way.
But it excuse me. It's not ready. It's not ready to be tested by an open invitation style beta. It's very broken.
That's what the preview program's for, though.
But there's a difference between the preview program should be facilitating stuff at at a closed beta level, not a closed alpha.
This feels like it's still in internal testing to me. I spent more time fighting to use my Xbox than actually using it. And if they want me to do that, that's fine, but they better fucking pay me. The biggest gripe of all is they don't make it clear to you when you upgrade to it that going back to the current Xbox experience will completely wipe your hard drive.
Oh.
So, I gotta deal with that later, because I'm not fucking with the new Xbox One experience anymore. But now I'm gonna have to reinstall everything, and probably have to restart a couple games, but that's not a huge deal. It should still
Well, you shouldn't have to restart games, because games save to the cloud, primarily.
Of course.
So.
Always.
But
Wow.
I lucked out with the few games I played that all of them were cloud saves, because, again, I'm on Xbox One 5?
I hope it
Do you have
does.
Windows 10, Brad?
No, I refuse to touch Windows 10 yet.
There's your problem. It doesn't detect your Windows 10, so it's not going to work for you properly.
I still haven't gotten the invite to actually get Windows 10. It keeps just telling me you'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I haven't gotten
got
on
that
mine
yet.
either.
No, I haven't got it on my main computer. I got it on my old 5-year-old laptop though, which I did upgrade.
I have access to it, but I'm
okay.
not touching it till I'm sure everything works properly. Not just gaming, but our stuff too.
Mm.
Okay, and that's understandable. And that'd be where you would check with the programs that you would be using and see where they're at with development for Windows 10. Most stuff, like, we use it in our office for the IT staff, and we've been liking it a lot so far. And it works for most, if not all, of our things. But I understand, like, with Audacity and all that kind of stuff, it's tough. So.
The other thing that I was waiting on is I don't even remember what it was, but it was like automatically updating and stuff without your permission and things like that. And until that's gone, I'll stay on 8.1. I love 8.1. I have zero problems with 8.1. It's one of the best operating systems I've ever used. It's a little with the pulling up the window thing for the program manager, but I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me now. But after this, I have zero desire to ever test OSs again in a beta form. I'm probably not going to mess with that again. So,
yeah.
I'm really mad. If I hadn't had a really good dinner and Star Wars had been day, I would have been fuming, and you wouldn't be able to shut me up right now. But
I can go watch the trailer again.
I can watch the trailer again and just say fuck you, Xbox. I'll play Destiny and Halo tomorrow.
We're having sorry, I'm trying to pronounce it. We'll have a part 2 and just be all pissed and just rant for the rest of the podcast.
And yeah, G-John, Xbox Live is still required.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, let's tie us up. Brad and Brian,
Well, so what are the videos of the week?
Yeah, I'll do videos of the week. So last week we didn't get to put out Star Wars Battlefront Drop Zone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's actually my fault too, because honestly I should have just edited it with 3 vantage points.
Fuck you, Brian.
To get stuff out on time, I should have just done that. I'm almost finishing up with it. I should have it out tomorrow. I was gonna also put out just in my stream from this past week and Dying Like the Bozak Horde, but and I know what I did wrong. It didn't record the game audio. Despite it being really funny, it's just not good enough to put out. Though Justin and I will probably be streaming that again Saturday morning at around 8:30, 9 a.m. Pacific.
You make promises we haven't talked about yet.
Hey, you said you wanted to try it again on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we can do that.
And actually record your footage so that we can then let's play it.
So yeah, guys, I see people in my chat. I got MSM in my chat. Gee, June, Reaper, I think you left. Why'd you leave? Anyways, y'all want me to play Dying Light? I'm playing Dying Light again, so yeah, definitely tune in for that.
Yeah, on Saturday we'll be doing that. Hopefully again, look to our social media places for confirmation.
Right.
And Brad, speaking of that, where can they find us?
Well, I wanted to say more on the video before we jump that far. Tomorrow, if Josh can pry himself away from his Back to the Future binge, there will be some Star Wars, probably from both of us, maybe? Maybe?
Oh, you mean with coffee?
Yeah, coffee starts tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have to discuss that on the podcast next week a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna play it when I can, but I've got too much work to do.
See, wait, are we doing Star Wars this weekend?
I thought you couldn't do this weekend.
No, it was Halloween and the 7th and last weekend.
Okay,
so I'm good to go this week.
Let's discuss this week. We'll figure out what we're gonna do then. We
Okay.
might have to change up
We're not
some
done with Star Wars yet, folks. Not by a long shot.
We just might be changing up what we're doing with it. Well,
Depends on how sick of it Justin is.
He was sick of it an hour
Get
before
there.
we started playing.
Yep.
So we might not do Dying Light on Saturday, or we might do something different with that. Again, social media. Stay tuned.
Yep. So
And speaking of which, where can they find us? I'm trying to make that segue happen.
No,
There's happened because my wife apparently finished dinner 20 minutes early.
All right. So as always, you can find us at constantlycalibrating.com. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/ConCalPod. You can find us on Twitter at excuse me. At ConCalPod. I'm sorry, I'm thirsty. And of course, you have all of our individual Twitter handles. We have Josh at Bear Punch, Justin at the Asian Gamer, myself at B_Cogs, and Brian at Brian McDaniel_. Also available, Facebook.com/Constantly Calibrating. We'd love to see you there. And every week here at Twitch.com/Constantly Calibrating.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv. I always forget that. They should just change that. It'd be easier. All right. So that's all of our social media plugs and whatnot. What kind of music?
Brian, music.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this week's track is Anxiety by Blanda. It's a really nice laid-back track that switches up near the middle. Really awesome, very jazzy. But really liked it this week, so put that in there. And so I'll start playing shortly. And then for the Twitch audience, the interview will happen in just a little bit. So
Yeah, I'll be doing that live. We're gonna we'll have that up on Twitch. Only on Twitch, not on. Well, actually, nobody's in YouTube, so we're just gonna only do it on Twitch.
All right, I'll do it on my side. All right, guys. So until next week.
Well, that's the thing I gotta say though. Just kind of added in, like, I just told Josh just like right after the interview, it's like, if you told me that, because we sat down there and we watched Farscape at Josh's house, you're like, you're gonna talk Chiana one day. I'm like, no, lying boy. And then I also got a Star Wars trailer today. It's a good day today.
It's been a really good day. It's also really good, Justin. I want food, so we wish you, we wish everyone listening and watching a good sign off.